Begin. Okay. Sup, Loey?
Hello, Bloop. Are you crushing it today?
Nope.
What?
Anyways, have you heard of Arknights?
Is this the super popular tower defense anime game?
No.
No?
Anyways, there's a
Okay.
new event for Arknights. It's called Exodus from the Pale Sea.
All right.
Great intro. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're just gonna be talking about Exodus from the Pale Sea, and then later on we'll talk about what's it called? Act or Die. Ooh. I mean, we
Yeah.
probably just talk about other random CN stuff if we think about it, but I am quite interested to look into this brand new event.
Yeah,
So,
I personally don't look at events like the event mechanic before they're added to global, so
I
I'm
don't. We're not
interested
doing
too.
that. We are just talking about the operators because we could probably talk a lot about the operators.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah,
you
well, shall we
want to
get
talk about the event mechanics, but I doubt we're going to get much like there's much to talk about without actually doing it.
well, that's what I mean. I have no idea how it works until I get hands-on experience.
Yeah. So,
Well, shall we get started with the man himself,
yeah,
Thorns,
rose
the
salt.
Lodestar?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
we can do that too.
which one do you want to start with?
Oh shit. I fucked it up. The wiki crop is wrong. Now
Bro.
it's way off to the side and it's also not even showing up anymore. What the God damn it. I screwed it up. I screwed it up.
Oh.
Wow. How does that even happen? And now it's too big. Wow, this is amazing content. All right, whatever. We'll just talk about it. We'll just try and fix it. Why is it
Okay.
blue? Why is
I
it all
I don't
blue?
know.
Okay, never mind. All right, that idea failed miserably, so let's just talk about it.
All right.
So he is a six-star alchemist, which follows the trend of us just getting subclasses for a single six-star, and that's it.
Well,
Because
I think it was mainly for Tin Man though,
you think
because
so?
Tin Man released. I think so, yeah. Cause I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me since I don't read the story much anymore, but Thorin's getting an altar was kind of
I don't give a
I
shit.
didn't I I didn't think that he would necessarily get one for some reason. I mean his guard version is still good and he doesn't really show up much in the story from what I have read, so just kind of came up out of the blue. So and his skill 2 is basically Tin Man's skill 2 except different with like the different range, but it functions basically the same.
I'm more because I don't know if I'm just a pessimist, but it's like because I think I've talked about it with you before, and I've kind of been a little complainer baby about it. But with like Earth
Yeah.
Shakers, Alchemists, and Shaper Casters, like
Mhm.
they feel like even like Hunters. I do fear Hunters because the Hunters are such a cool subclass, but I do think that it's like we got Cold Shot, and then very quickly we got Ray, and the reason
Mhm.
why they designed the Hunter subclass was because of Ray, and that's it. And then it's just like, oh, Earth Shakers. Oh, we
Yeah.
want to design Pepe. We want to give her a cool subclass. So we'll design Earth Shakers, but we'll also only, we'll have a 5-star to test the waters, and then we'll make Pepe, and then that's it. Now with Tin Man,
Yep.
and then he tests the waters for Thorns. Then now Thorns is out, and then we have Techno for Shapers, and that's mainly for Ablana. So it's just like,
Yeah,
because
the shaper casters like that was blatantly obvious because
yeah,
techno doesn't seem to be
uh,
incredible. I mean, granted, I haven't used her, but
She doesn't exist yet. That's why we're
um,
talking about her.
fair, fair. But she doesn't really stand out that much. And then you get Ablana, who's just like, hey, what if the summons that
What?
she summons upgrades themselves, and then you get a brick of HP that deals tons of AoE arts damage. So it's like, like the difference is massive between them.
Remember Calstit? Remember Calstit? What if she was a caster? And you could have multiple of them. No, you can't have multiple of them. The whole point of Ablana is that you only get one. Or no, that's just with her S3. Only her S3 has the single one, right? We're not. We're supposed to be
Um,
talking about thorns.
um,
I'm trying to fix the stupid window thing, but that's not working. So that sucks. I don't. That's an amazing thing. I'm glad it just bugged out the first thing I tried to do.
well, Thorn's Alter Skill 1 would be such an amazing addition to your account because it gives you a whopping 100 defense. And
That's
it's
true.
base defense.
And guess what? I have Heidi, and she does the same thing. Like I remember, like people talking. People have talked about it, obviously, because it's like, oh, haha, the funny Crusher
Yeah.
guy. He's gonna want thorns because he does this. But it's like Heidi. That's why I have Heidi built to give defense, and that's it. And it's like
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit about giving 100 defense sometimes.
Yeah. And it says that um multiple effects stack, so you get 200 if you have them
Oh
maxed out.
wow, I'm
But
excited.
it's yeah. It's kind of one of those things where you can tell S1 is kind of just one of those things where it's like, who would, if you have access to the other skills, why would you ever use it?
Okay, I fixed it. I'm sorry, I was kind of like half paying attention, but I fixed it. And now I'm gonna have to cut out a lot of footage because it wasn't cropped beforehand. But we got it.
Well, that's progress.
All right, we're getting professional streamer. Okay, let's actually talk about his S1.
So
Yeah.
so his S1 just feels like one of those skills where it's as soon as you get access to his skill 2, you're never going to use it again,
Okay, I
which
I I
is
see
kind of
that. I
annoying.
I see that. However, this has over 100% uptime. This is a 5 second
Okay.
charge. 5 second charge for an 8 second duration at Mastery 3.
His skill 2 has 100% uptime with
Does
his
it?
talent
Wait, does
or
it?
close to it.
God damn it.
Fif- 15 seconds plus 4 seconds.
15
So
seconds for
9
20 charge. Oh, okay. I guess we should read his talent then. Um.
he gains attack, and if there's allies in range, his units gain extra duration.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna consider him just at Elite 2 because he's a 6 star. So I'm not gonna consider the pots because that's gonna be very restricted. I'm just gonna assume that it's 3 seconds longer. Attack plus 10% when there's other operators in range. Alchemical units from this unit lasts 3 seconds longer. So
Yeah.
his S1 is going to last 11 seconds because obviously you're going to be putting him with units in range. Oh, but
Yeah.
he's an alchemist though. His range is stupid. Because like what? Okay, when I use Tin Man, I don't often use Tin Man. Like, because alchemist range is the weirdest fucking range in the entire game, and so it's like you won't always have units in his range, which is kind of funny, but usually you will.
The really sad thing is that the special range that they have, I wish Splashcasters had. I mean,
Really?
to be brutally honest, because well, it would make them have unique coverage, like
That
either
yeah, you're
that
right. You're
or
right. And
or
at
or
Elite 2, it is strictly better.
Yeah. Like if they had that extra side range, that would actually be pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're
But
right.
getting back to Thorns, his skill one does double stack with if you have it
Yeah, that seems really easy to double
with
stack it though.
yeah, with masteries, so it's like a good support
Wait, you could get 3 of these on the
skill.
field. Because it's going to
Can
be,
you?
yeah, for 8 seconds, 8 plus 3. I'm not going to assume max pots because he's a 6-star, if that's fair.
Yeah.
So 8
Yeah.
seconds, 8 seconds plus 3, that's 11 seconds. It's 5-second charge. So you could get 3 of these out on the field, but only for 1 second.
Oh, that's true. Or if you have like SP recovery
Oh, he'd go so
passive.
hard. He'd go so hard with SP recovery. Because it's an, yeah.
Shoe squad stonks, let's go.
Because I'm looking at this S1 and I'm like, this isn't like a bad skill. Like, this is good.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. It's just that as soon as you get his skill two, it's like, oh well, then you deal damage and you heal, just like Tin Man
Yeah.
skill two.
Yeah. Well, let me read that, shall we? Throws an alchemical 20-second charge, 14-second starting charge. Like, what's even the point of starting charge anymore? Every skill should just start fully charged because that's what it
I know.
is.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. You know, his S2 stores charges. He should start with 30 SP. That's what it should be. Throws an alchemical unit for 15 seconds. Ground enemies around the landing point receive 50% less healing and recovery effects. That applies to chapter 8, and
It
that's
applies
it.
to like it applies to like 5 enemies in the game and that's it.
Yeah, because the only like, because you have like Mephisto, he heals
Yep.
everyone. But I'm also like, I don't. What other enemies heal themselves? Is there a boss that heals
The
themselves?
there's the whip guys in chapter 13, they heal themselves
Oh
when
yeah, those guys are
the
actually, those guys are annoying as
yeah,
fuck.
yeah, when the slugs die near them, then they gain extra HP.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's useful against them, and that's kind of about it.
Yeah. So that's just like I'm sure that's probably more of a flavor thing
Yeah, it must be because
because I can't really
that
think
is
of
a
like,
very niche effect.
yeah. All right, take 180% of attack as arts damage per second. I want to compare that to Tin Man. I just want to compare that to Tin Man because I could pull him up on the game because I do. Do I have his? I don't have his S2 M3'd. I have Tin Man's
Um,
S1 M3'd because it gives him 100% uptime. I'm just pulling this up for comparison. Okay, Tin Man's S2 is 110% of attack. So Thorns is significantly more.
but Tin Man heals more. It's 18% versus
18%
25.
versus 25%. Okay. Although, what is... The alchemical unit has an initial AoE of 1.1. Okay, because the thing is with the alchemical units is that we don't know how big they are until you play with them. Because they all have
The
different...
Thorn's AoE based on what I've seen is very very big AoE.
Is it like Tin Man's S2?
I think it starts out similar to Tin Man's S2 and then it just gets bigger.
Ooh, wait. Oh, actually, you're wrong. I'm sorry to say this. The alchemical unit for Tin Man has an AoE effect of 2. And then
Oh,
Thorns starts
okay.
at 1.1. So I assume that's like 2 tile radius and then 1.1 tile radius that increases at the rate of 0.13 per second. Okay, so it
Yeah,
starts
so
smaller, but it gets
yeah.
bigger. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Is it grow for the entire duration? Does it just become massive?
Yeah, it does.
How many okay.
It covers a lot of range, a lot of area.
All right, so 15 seconds times 0.13 is 1.95 extra tiles. So it'll grow to a radius of around 3. That's a radius of 3, so that's like a diameter of 6. So that's like that's pretty big.
Yeah, it's very big.
Yeah, so that's a whole tile bigger than Tin Man's S2. So that gets really big. 18% of
Hmm.
attack. Alchemical unit will slowly travel in the direction. I remember reading this. This is weird to me. What is like? You've probably seen footage. What exactly does that mean?
It means, like, for an example, if there's an enemy in front of him, he'll throw the unit where the enemy is, and then it will move in that direction. So as it gets bigger, it's moving away from thorns, which is kind of weird.
I
But
feel like that helps with the damage, but I feel like that makes the healing awful.
yeah, it from the showcases, like if you need Thorns himself to heal from his own units, like you have to wait quite a while, which screws him over. But
Because I guess
hopefully, you don't need healing on Thorns himself. But
okay, so it moves at this. Okay, its radius increases faster than its movement speed, so it increases at
yeah,
a
so
rate. So it doesn't move out of the range of anyone.
right, yes,
Okay, that's good. Because I was thinking just like he throws it and then it just runs away, and now your operators don't get the healing anymore. So okay, that's a lot better. I was thinking that it's just like, oh, this thing sucks for healing then, because it's just gonna escape and go do whatever the fuck it wants to do. All
yeah.
right.
Basically, if you need healing from where Thorns is or behind him, then they won't get healing. But if
Yeah,
they're in
yeah,
front of Thorns, then they're fine.
yeah. That makes sense. Which I would dare say is an actual use case for his S1, because it's a lot more consistent as to where the fuck he's throwing it.
True. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I get what you're saying with his S2 just kind of being like, oh, it heals and does damage. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
or you could have 100 defense.
Yep.
Although the healing with his S1 does seem significantly better.
Yeah, if you need just pure healing, then his S1 is really good. Um, I guess the best use case I can think of is for enemy or you allied operators that don't normally get healed, so like Reapers and Juggernauts and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he heals those.
Yeah, that'd be probably really, really strong. Because as I said, it can't really stack up to three. It can stack up to 3 times, but not reliably. But for like,
Hmm.
for 2 stacks, which is what you're consistently getting with this, it's like that's 40% of his attack per second, which his attack is
Yep.
around like 450. So even
Yeah,
we want to use like,
450 like mid
yeah.
E2.
So that, I mean, that's still around like 200 HP per second. We'll do like, yeah, like
Yep.
450 times, zero point 0.4, 180 HP per second. Because yeah, I mean, that's not horrible. Because that's AoE healing rather
Yeah.
than single target healing.
Yep. And for a fun fact,
Ooh, fun
if
fact.
the defense gain is base defense, like Shining's passive, then Phalanx casters get triple that.
Ooh, yeah, you're right, because it will be affected by defense boosts.
Yeah, which is really funny because the one of the few use cases for Elite Zero Level 1 that I can think of is using him with a Phalanx caster, so then he gives 135 defense to
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
so they take less damage.
yeah, you're right. That does sound really funny.
But that's basically about it. If you have him E2, hey, you make your Lin invincible to physical damage.
And the defense increase isn't even like insignificant though, because as little as like 100 attack is, 100 defense is a lot more. Because that's an
Hmm.
entire threshold. Like there's an entire group of enemies that you now can damage threshold because of that.
Yep.
Like 100 defense is like a shit ton, and you're getting 200 defense out of this with when he's elite 2.
Yep. It makes it so that you can use like an AoE guard instead of a defender, essentially, if you look at it that way.
He finally fixed the issue with crushers. That's insane. Am I insane for just liking his S1 more than his S2? Am I weird? I think his S1's really fun.
I think it probably is a really funny skill to use. I agree. It's
Because
just
because
what
but you can continue. You can continue.
it's just like I said, like from a gameplay sense and outside of funny strategies, it just seems like his S2 is better, but
Yeah.
at the same time his S1, like you said, is more consistent. It also does more healing if you need that and stuff like that. And the defense makes it so you take less damage in the
Yeah.
process. So
The combo potential is kind of crazy with this. Not like crazy
yeah,
crazy, but you can do because again, like the biggest upside to this skill is just like, oh, I can put down, Mudrock, and now Mudrock doesn't die because she receives all this healing.
yep, yep.
So it's like it's a like I guess I'm just the weirdo because I have Tin Man's S1 at M3 and not his S2, and that's because it gives that skill over 100% uptime, which is obviously really good on a weakened skill. But for something like this, the fact
Yeah.
this has like a 200% over 200% uptime, and you're just like constantly throwing these,
Yeah.
you're constantly healing. It's just so much fun to
hmm
me.
Do you know what that defense is also good for?
What could it possibly be
Well,
good for?
not only Skelter benefits from this, but also
Arts damage. It'll help me against arts damage, right?
um Vigil's wolves.
Will it stack triple?
It should, yeah.
Because there's three
I
wolves.
mean,
Oh no, it won't. Wait, no, it
yeah.
won't. The wolves don't stack their defense, do that? No, they don't.
No, they don't. But I mean, if you have two charges of this defense, 200 defense on the wolves is
No, yeah, that will make the
kind of
wolves really strong because the wolves only have like 200
yeah.
defense to begin with. I don't know why the first thing I thought of
Yep.
was, oh, there are three wolves, therefore you will get 300 defense. I don't know why that was the first thing I thought of. Vigil's
Can
wolves
you
are weird.
imagine?
Every
Can you imagine Elite Zero level one Vigil? Oh, you have three wolf heads, 300 defense.
yeah, every time you get a wolf head, it doubles the stats. Yeah.
We fixed Vigil, everybody.
We did it. We fixed Vigil. But yeah, I guess I'm just a weirdo because I look at his S1 and I'm like, this looks like so much fun. And then his S2 is just like, it's good damage, and then it just like to me, it's just like, what's the fuck is the point of a splash caster then? Looking at his S2, poor
Pretty
splash
much, yeah.
casters. All right, but we have his S3, and as everyone knows, that is the only skill that matters on a 6-star.
Yes.
I love this passive effect. Attack range increases because alchemists
Yep.
have weird as fuck range.
Yeah, no, you get flinger range instead.
It's flinger range. Oh wow. Okay.
Or Deadeye range if you're old school.
If you're old school, that's so. I love how it's just like, yeah, we don't want the people pulling for Tin Man having to use this peasant range. He is not Wishadel.
Well, the way his skill 3 works, it actually makes sense because he like links operators together, and the extra range allows him to have more coverage, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Throws alchemical units at 4 operators with the lowest block for 23 seconds. Enemies within the defined area have minus 15% attack, minus 15% attack. That seems really low. Defense minus 35%, resistance minus 35%. Doesn't stack. Oh, resistance doesn't stack. Okay. That's yeah.
Well,
No,
basically,
defense
the
and
debuff,
resistance don't stack.
the
Wait, yeah,
the
debuffs
well,
don't
the
stack
whole
additively. Yeah, you're right. They don't stack additively. They stack multiplicatively.
basically he
Oh,
throws out multiple units, and it's
yes.
saying
Yes, you're right. I'm
every
silly.
unit doesn't stack with itself.
You're
Yeah.
you are correct. For some reason I'm thinking like, it doesn't stack with other debuffs, and it's like, yeah, because they're they stack multiplicatively and not additively. I'm over fucking thinking this. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yes, you are. What?
I'm like, oh yeah, because I've been using I etude Praminix like a week or two ago, and I've just been using her with Shamare, and so I'm just like, ah yes, debuff stacking. This is so much fun, and that's the first thing I thought of when I read does not stack. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It just means that it doesn't stack with itself.
Yeah, you're right.
Because that would be ridiculous.
That would be a little powerful because it apparently gets stronger. And also take 210%. Jesus. These effects gradually increase. Attack minus 30, defense minus 50, resistance minus 50, and 380% continuous damage over. That is so much. But that's like it reaches it after 15 seconds, but it lasts for 23 seconds. Okay. The attack
so you don't
the attack debuffs does seem that's the thing though, is that I'm looking at this and it's like this is literally it's funny I brought up Shamare and Praminix because at max stacks this is literally just Shamare and Praminix. But not both combined, just
pretty
like
much
kind of both their effects together. Because minus 50% defense, minus 50% resistance. Because I'm thinking like, oh, why isn't it minus 50% attack? And I'm like, because then it would probably be a little too much.
Yeah.
This is a nutty debuff skill. Although you are only getting it. You're only getting the max stack for what, 8 seconds? So it's not like super insane.
And it says 380% arts damage per second. That's like 2.6k per second.
Seriously? What the fuck?
Yeah, when it's wrapped up. Like if you have him maxed out with module, he does 2.6.
That is such a nutty attack modifier on a DOT effect.
Yeah.
My god.
Yeah, and the first thing I thought of naturally is how does that stack with Sculptor then? And I use the shoe squad, so add 350 to that.
You know what this like, is? I want to just say this. This is going to be nuts with spinach. Because alchemy units take because alchemy units work with spinach. So this is going to be 380% of like spinach buffed attack.
Oh, and it keeps it over time?
Yeah.
Oh, that is very spicy then.
Yeah, so it's like spinach with thorns is fucking insane. Jesus.
So with Sculptor and Shoe Squad, he does like 4k when it's maxed out.
My god.
Per second.
But it's okay because at least they keep half of their resistance.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god.
Sculptor casually breaking the game by doing nothing.
Oh, we just need to Ock him. How do we Ock him? Give him defense. Let us murder him.
How much defense does he have?
Probably not a lot.
Much. It's like one of the lowest defenses.
106 at max level.
30 res base is crazy though.
That is, yeah. That's because phalanx casters have what 15, but that's buffed up to
35.
40, 35. So
it's 35 base. It's probably 40 with the module.
No, I was thinking like they have 15, but because of their trait effect, it's like 35 or whatever.
Yeah. You're right.
So he's all right. It's not like that's like flavor because it's not like you're using thorns as a fucking arts tank. Or can
just add Nightingale, then he can.
Or can't? No, he only has 1100 HP. That's not fucking happening. If he had like 1800, 1900, you could probably justify that with his S1.
Yeah.
Which would be funny.
Probably, yeah.
But no, yeah, you can't use him as a fucking arts tank. That would be hilarious, though. Nah, man, yeah. Should we talk about his module, or is that? Should we talk about
His
his?
module just gives him more SP, and his alchemical units last a second longer.
Oh yeah. I made a in the recent video where I talk about why modules are fucking dog shit and should be removed from the fucking game. I brought up the alchemy. I brought up the alchemist trait change, and it's the most like nothing burger thing ever.
Yeah, 10% SP is kind of whatever.
Like
I mean, it helps obviously, but
when you have like a 100% uptime skill like his S1, like it makes it now better, but it's like it's what an 8-second charge, so you're now getting it in 7.2 seconds. And it's like wow. Except probably because of
yeah,
his attack animation, it probably won't even matter.
yeah.
So
It pretty much only matters with his S3. I mean, I guess you get 100% uptime with the skill too, but
no, even then, because of his S3, it's on the field for 23 seconds. So that's a reduction of 2.3 seconds out of 60 seconds. So you can get him back in
yeah,
57 seconds.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, it just kind of exists.
Wait, can affect aerial enemies.
Which thing?
I'm reading his S3. It says it can affect aerial enemies. Oh my gosh, he is Wishadel. I was
Wow,
joking.
that's
He's got. I was making the joke because it's like, oh, his range needs to be Wishadel range for him to be good, and then his S3 can also hit aerial enemies like Wishadel. We did it.
because yeah, Tin Man doesn't hit air, does he? For
No,
his alchemical
alchemical
units.
units. I don't think his like even Thorns' other alchemical units. None of their additional information reference hitting air.
That that's kind of funny.
Yeah, because they can attack aerial units, but the alchemical units don't
Right.
affect aerial units. But
Yeah.
Thorns' S3 can because he's a 6-star, and there is no such thing as a downside for a 6-star.
What is really funny is that he's one of the best factory workers at Elite Zero, as you can see by his base skill. So,
Precious metal plus 30%. I'm gonna pretend
yep.
I have a frame of reference for that.
Well, let's just say there isn't enough good factory workers for Elite Zero.
All right, all right. I'm gonna take
So,
your word for it.
let's just say like half of my factory workers only do like plus 15, so going up to
Okay.
plus 30 is kind
Yeah,
of ridiculous.
yeah. That's fair.
Um, although what really annoys me is that the trading post, I keep getting like better trading post operators, and then it's like, oh, well, you get one better factory worker like once a year. It's like, nice. Thanks a lot.
So what are your overall thoughts on our boy Thorns?
Um, I think he's definitely one of the more interesting operators. I mean, I'm kind of more interested in support operators because of the team synergies and combos that you can do, but his skill 3, like the activation effect, like throwing it to multiple operators with the lowest block, it kind of feels, I'm just really not sure about that because it's like, okay, do you use like an ambusher? Do you use well, I don't really use my Mjolnir, so I mean, I could use a liberator, but I probably wouldn't end up doing that. But, you know, like, do you throw out zero block or a fast redeploy or something just to for him to throw out the alchemical units and that just kind of,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's probably
But
more for ranged operators because your guards and your defenders it's 2 and 3 block, but you're like all your ranged operators are
yeah,
going to be 1 block, And so you kind of create the zone, you create the cool, you create the quadrilateral of doom where
Hmm.
enemies walk inside the, and die.
Hmm.
So it's
So it sounds like a really cool skill. It's just that I don't know, like it might just feel clunky to use. So
yeah,
that just kind of
yeah. It
just
requires a lot of
depends.
setup.
But yeah. And then his S2, I think, is, well, it's basically Tin Man S2, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's just kind
And
of like a
S1,
better Tin Man S2. I mean, not really though. Like, is it? It's probably the same thing, isn't it? 20-second charge for
yeah, pretty
Thorns,
much.
25 for Tin Man. Tin Man heals more but does less damage. And it has the exact same
Yep.
duration.
Hmm.
So I mean
Although,
it's probably a better Tin Man skill.
yeah, but one thing to keep in mind is that Tin Man does have the increased continuous damage, so
That is true.
levels levels out the damage to be a little bit closer.
Oh, so that means Tin Man and Thorns S3. That's going to go even harder.
Oh yeah.
I love how the first thing I thought of when I saw Tin Man's talent was like, I am Hoderer S3ing this so hard, and then I have yet to do that.
Uh,
Do all that work for 244 damage.
yeah, I think people have said that his continuous damage talent also works with necrosis, which is kind of,
Ooh, that's spicy.
yeah.
Ooh. Oh, but you know what Thorns doesn't have? Doesn't have a baby hot
What?
dog. That's what he doesn't
That's
have.
fair.
Also doesn't have a fancy donut. So, shall we move on to one of the other two? What is it? It's Rose Salt and Techno.
Well, rose salt will be pretty easy to look at, so let's get her done first.
All
So
right.
rose salt as a generic, well, I guess it's not really generic because I think she's probably the only one who has it, but it's like charge, kind of like a power strike heal in a sense that it
Wait,
increases the healing.
is she a chain medic or is she? No, she's a multi medic. Okay, I'm reading throughout the wiki and I'm
Yeah,
like, why doesn't it say what her subclass is? Looked at the very top and
yeah,
found it.
multi-target.
Okay, that's sad, but fair.
Her talent is kind of weird that it reduces her attack, but allied operators receive more healing.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
interesting to me because it encourages you to not use her as a main medic, but to use her alongside other medics, and also
yeah,
it makes extraneous healing effects better. Like, uh, just any operator that has any sort of self heal or self. I don't know if it'll work with restoration
yep,
effects, but like if I click Matori Maru's S1, does that heal her for 17% more? It might. I'm not sure, but it's because it's not
yeah, I don't know.
restoration; it's healing. But it can affect
Right.
like I'm sure like any kind of self heal skill. I think might work. Like to me, because what people have said is like, oh, she's a crusher medic because she gives your crushers more healing, and it's like you're not wrong, but if I'm using rose salt to give quartz like 17% more healing, I'm also probably using Gavial. So at that point, why don't I just Gavial and that's it? So it's like they're not wrong, but I would
Hmm.
probably rather
Yeah.
just use a medic. Like, you still need another medic to take advantage of the extra healing. Other than that, it's just like, well, Rose Salt has less attack, but she heals more. And so I'm sure in the end, it just comes out to being the same, so it doesn't really matter. And plus, she's a
See,
multi medic.
yeah, I mean, she does gain more healing effect than the attack that she loses, but it's just kind of,
But since
I
she
mean, if you
loses
look
more
at,
attack, she probably she like a 5% attack. She would need more attack to reach that same goal, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. Like
yeah, it
we can
doesn't
do the
matter.
math. So for 330 times 0.95, and then times 1.17, and it's an increase, but like by barely anything.
Yeah. Her skill one, like I said, is basically a power strike that does extra healing with
Fair,
charges,
fair. That's
which
honestly
is
something kind of comfy for a multi medic.
yeah, it's not bad. It's just
It's generic.
the only sad yeah, it is generic, but it also you run into the problem where oh somebody takes one damage and then she uses a charge,
Yeah, that yeah,
you know.
because
But
yeah,
oh well.
which is why you have
The
like Gavial and Warfarin. They only will activate their crits when an operator is below 50%, and so
yeah.
you're going to have that wasted here. But I mean,
The
it's
skill
okay. We can move on to skill 2. I don't know why I'm talking so much about fucking increases attack to 190.
her skill 2 is what everyone is excited about because
Ooh,
it makes it so you avoid one shots basically.
okay. Attack
It
interval.
makes it so yeah, I'll let you read it.
Attack interval reduces 50% of physical and arts damage received by allied operators within range becomes HP loss over 5 seconds. You know what? You know exactly what I'm about to say.
Consumes 100 HP per second.
Everyone's going to be consuming 100 HP per second. Let's fucking go.
Yes. Honestly, you know what I think of when I read this?
This is going to be fun as fuck.
I feel like Rosal S2 was made in response to Herald.
Why do you say that? Because I don't remember shit about Harold.
Herald is that one boss
No, I know.
that
Oh, the boss Harold.
on
I thought you were talking about. I was about to pull up the operator Harold.
yeah, the boss Herald, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah, because he just fucking one
Because
shots your ranged at operators.
yeah, because it's EX8, especially challenge mode.
Yeah.
What is so frustrating about him is like, oh, did he turn off one of your furnaces just before you threshold his HP? Oh, you take like all of your allied all of your range operators. Oh, they're just dead now.
Yeah, very fun boss fight.
It's just. And then on challenge mode, he also does like 5,000 physical damage every hit. It's like, okay, so you need a maxed out, possibly even buffed defender in order to even block him.
Yeah, fucking.
So it's
I don't remember too much about Harold because I didn't actually get to EX8. I was only just chilling. The normal boss fight was hard as fuck.
yeah. Well, let's just say imagine him doing like 40% more damage and that's EX8 challenge mode,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I could see
which is just
why Rose Salt has anti Harold stonks.
yeah.
So in order
Other
to
than
one shot,
that,
it would have to be. Well, that's the thing though. If Harold's doing like 5,000 damage, she's only reducing half of that, and that's still probably enough to one shot your operators, your ranged
well,
operators.
his AoE nuke or whatever does less than 5,000. I'm just saying his
Yeah.
melee attack
Okay. Yeah, because
is the
his
thing that hits so hard, yeah.
yeah, because it's the AOE that's like it does less damage for each furnace you have activated, and
Yeah.
so yeah, this seems like a really fun skill because you can also use this. You can also abuse this with Olpianus. First thing I thought of.
Yep.
You activate this,
Yep.
now Olpianus instantly heals all of his health back.
Should, yeah.
So I don't know how else you could really break it. Is there any like what operators would this no, it's HP loss, so it can't trigger defensive charge. I don't really know if there's really any other operators that take advantage from HP loss
Oh,
other than Olpianus.
actually there is one. Quirkus S2 gives SP whenever she heals. So if it's a damage over time, then she
Ooh,
can give SP to whoever you want
that's true, but they will still need it.
for
That
a longer duration.
that is yeah, that is interesting. Because it's like the enemy takes like or the your operator only takes like 200 damage, but then they get
Hmm.
like 100 of that damage in like tiny little thresholds over time, and so yeah, they will be
Yep.
gaining like a bunch of SP. Yeah, that would be an
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, that is quite cool. I like that. Same thing with like chain medics. You can just kind of keep them active, just healing fucking whatever.
Yep.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's a I like these kind of like Johnny operators that are just like this operator does something really funny. Do some funny shenanigans with it because it's like
Yeah.
because yeah
Yeah.
the most obvious answer is like oh Rose Salt become because this synergizes really well with her talent in that she encourages you to use her with other medics, and so obviously
Yep.
her S2 wants you to use her with some other medic. Although she does have an attack interval reduction, which is probably going to be significant. What is it? By 1.35 seconds. Okay, it's not like super much. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is
so she
more of
heals
like a
every 1.5 instead of 2.85.
yeah. It's not like amazing, but that's still decent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Telopsis heals even faster, but that's a completely different.
Completely
That's
different
like
effect,
a
yeah.
burst heal. Yeah.
Because to me, I'm thinking like, oh, this skill works the best when you're using it against like bosses that are going to one shot your operators anyways. And obviously, you don't want to be using a multi medic to heal against a boss. And so
Yeah.
it does help with that kind of synergy with how her talent works. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so you avoid the one shot and then you use a more powerful single target medic to actually heal.
yeah, I that's really cool. I do think, and she's the welfare, so this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Because the only other welfare multi medic is Breeze.
Yep.
Although I mean, Breeze is probably the better generic medic, but even then, it's like Rose Salt's S1 is pretty decent. So I mean,
Hmm.
she's not bad. This is the kind of 5-star design I like. It's just like she has
Yep.
a gimmick. That's it. She has a specific role. She has a specific thing that she likes to do. That's what she does. That's the tool. You have been given a new tool in your toolbox. Here's the tool. It's not some over the top kind
Yep.
of, DPS, heal, debuff, fucking everything. It's just like she has one gimmick, that's it. And it's always
Yep.
prevalent in welfare operators are never bad. They're never like weak because they're free. They're just usually very mechanically simple, but usually have some interesting gimmick to them, which is something I do like.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like someone I think of is like Connie Plot, even though he's technically not welfare according to people who for some reason get to decide which free operators are welfare or not.
yeah,
But
that's
to me he's welfare because you don't have to roll gotcha for him. He's a very simple core caster and he has one gimmick, and that's if he attacks something in the air he does more damage. And so
yep.
his S2 just hovers some things, makes him take more damage because of his talent, and then he explodes them, doing a bunch of AoE damage. He has one roll, and that's like anti. No, he has two rolls. It's anti-air arts damage, and
Yep.
pretends to be a splash caster sometimes. And so you have these very specific roles. He's really good at those roles, and that's all he needs to be. He doesn't need to be anything more than that. Because
Hmm.
Rose Salt's weird because she's both a generalist and a specialist, which dare I say is good design. If
Hmm.
you're a new player and she is your only multi medic, because for some reason you don't have perfumer, that's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, let's say you're new to the game and
Hmm.
you have Rose Salt for perfumer, she still fulfills the role of a generalist, but also still functions with her own special role. It's like fair.
Yep.
But I get that's also kind of a nothing burger compliment because I think I would probably prefer it if her S1 was more niche and had more more to do with her gimmick, I guess. So either way, I'm
Yeah.
complimenting her because I want to compliment her. So amazing commentary on my behalf.
Yeah, I personally I am glad that her S1 is unique from other multi-target medics to give her something else, like especially for if you don't need her S2 gimmick, like her S1 is still like different enough to be it's kind of like Papyrus versus Paprika, you know.
Oh, all of those differences? Oh, wow. One is a chain
Well,
medic
you
and
know
the
what I
other's a chain
mean.
medic. Yeah,
Like
it's
Papyrus has the power strike heal, and
yeah.
Paprika has the attack speed for their skill ones.
Yeah.
So it gives them a little bit more flavor, I guess.
Yeah. It's not that they're both not going to replace each other. Which again, I would
Right.
probably say would probably be better if, let's say, only Paprika was meant to be the kind of baseline chain medic, and so you focus more on specialization for Papyrus. But again, not everyone has Paprika, and so you kind of can't rely on that. So it's this weird situation where it has to be like one or the other. Because I like, especially nowadays, who the fuck has Paprika? I mean, I obviously have her, but it's not like she really shows up on banners, does she? Is she even in like the? She's
Not
probably in the common pool, so you might get her
right.
out of the 5 billion
She
other 5 stars.
still is in the common pool. I don't think she's really rate up very often.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. I do want to say though, with Rose Salt, her module boosts her healing restoration to 20%, which just so happens to be the exact amount of crushers.
And do you know if that stacks
I
multiplicatively? Like that's
actually,
something
I
you
actually wanted to test that, and I forgot to because I was actually curious whether that's a multiplicative or additive. No, I remember we were literally talking about Rose Salt, and I'm like, oh yeah, she would be the perfect crusher medic if healing stacks multiplicatively. If healing buffs stack
Oh, yeah.
multiplicatively, because
Hmm.
if they do, the crusher mod now becomes infinitely more busted with like any restoration giver. But
Yep.
if Rose Salt stacks multiplicatively with crushers, she is she is a crusher medic. If not, she's still pretty decent. Yeah,
And
she's
speaking of Papyrus, I tried her out. I finally found somebody who had Papyrus as their support unit, and I tried her with the Sculptor buff, and she does heal for 1600 with her S1. It's so funny.
jeez.
It's like, oh, Quartz has no defense. I don't think that really matters.
I do want. No, I'm not going to get into crushers. I'm not going to get into crushers. We're here to talk about other things. We're here to talk about Techno, right? That's her name.
Yes,
She's
the
not. She's not even a guard. She's a caster. It's not a crusher.
she is the
The Shaper caster.
yeah, well,
Everyone's favorite
um
subclass that is totally getting more operators. There's no way in hell they're gonna release another Shaper caster. Like there is no design space for this subclass. They are
pretty
like
much, yeah.
I don't like they're summoners, but you have to kill things to get the summons, and it's like you're probably more likely for Hypergriff to just design another summoner rather because there's nothing really that special about the killing things thing.
Yeah.
Like I would rather just like that's not a mechanic that really warrants a lot of design space. Like maybe you could do like a cool like to me I think a cool version would be like maybe the whatever they summon has like similar stats to whatever they just killed, and maybe it's like a temporary thing. So maybe you have a Shapercaster that when the Shapercaster itself kills an enemy, the enemy will come back as a summon, and its stats are relative to the enemy that it just killed. So it's like, oh, you can like reanimate your enemies, and if you kill a boss with them, do you have like this really big, spooky summon that murders things? But it's like outside of that, it's like outside of flavor, there is nothing that really warrants the subclass, which
Yeah,
sucks
I mean, pretty
because
much, yeah.
yeah, it sucks because it's like that's exactly why it exists. It exists because of Blana, and that's it.
And my frustration with Ablana is that she's not even just a regular caster. With her skill 3, she is an AoE caster.
We could talk about
She's
Ablana
not.
in a bit if you.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get Techno done
All
here.
right,
So
let's get techno.
she is the Ablana testbed as we know, and she summons puppet dancers whenever she kills things, which
Yes.
have which basically has Vigil Wolves levels of stats,
Oh,
which
it
is
is. It is when she defeats an enemy, not when an enemy dies in range. I didn't know that was a proper distinction. I'm very silly.
it says after
Yeah,
defeating.
after defeating a ground enemy. So I'm like, okay. Oh no, they're worse than I thought.
Wait a minute. If she needs to be the one who does the final blow, then she's not that great. Then
Yeah. No,
what?
there are no bad operators. No, we must stay positive. No,
Um.
we must stay positive. I'm not coping. You're
Well, I
coping.
guess we're gonna we're gonna find out
The thing
when we
is, though,
test
is
her. I
I
guess.
still am not a huge fan of Techno because the reason why she exists is not because Hypergriff was like, let's do this really cool design thing that we desperately want to do. It's just like, we need
Hmm.
someone to exist so that when we release Techno or when we release Ablana, people are already familiar with the subclass.
And so that they know how to
Yeah.
scale it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't even matter because they made Ablana overpowered anyway in most content.
We'll get to
So,
Ablana. We'll get to Ablana. Attack plus
uh,
50%. Puppet Dancer block plus 1. Max HP plus 50 per. Oh, wait. Is that her HP or the puppet It's probably the puppet dancer,
the
right?
the puppet dancer becomes tankier and she deals more damage,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, cuz
Which is
that's another
it's all
rant I
right.
want to go on. I hate skill formatting. It's so bad. Like, you look at this and the first thing I thought was, oh, Techno gains 50% attack, 50% more HP, and 100% more defense. And then the puppet dancers get plus 1 block. But they're saying, like, oh no, the puppet dancers get block plus 1, max HP plus 50%. I'm like, then use like a
Probably
semicolon or something after you do attack plus 50% to show that this is like a different thought. Like,
or bracket, yeah.
yeah, just like do something. This is. Ugh. But yeah, this is a. I mean, it's 50% uptime, makes the puppet dancers better. But again, it's
Yeah, I
like,
mean they become reasonably tanky with this skill,
well,
but
we should
without it
probably look at
they're
the puppet dancer stats, shouldn't we? Okay.
yeah. So at E2 max, they have the same HP and similar defense. Well, they have a little bit more actually, more health, but they basically have the same stats as one head of Vigil's Wolves, which is not amazing.
Okay. 20 resistance though, but again, 1100 HP. Cuz to me it's like, oh, the
Yeah.
whole point of the puppet dancers is that they're supposed to be like spammed, and so that's why their stats are so low. So that if
Yeah,
they
which is
die, you're getting
fine.
another one. But okay, so when they are buffed, defense is doubled. Defense goes to around
Around
600.
600.
Yeah, around 600. Max HP is okay. They are just tankier. So
Yep.
they're just more meant to be meat shields, if anything.
Yep. And then with skill 2, it makes it so that the puppet dancers become ranged. So then they provide more damage.
That seems like a lot more fun. Wait, don't puppet dancers do arts damage? Yes, they do. Okay, thank God.
Yes, they do.
I'm like, oh no, wait, that's not gonna do anything. Because again, the thing is with Vigil's wolves is that they do rely heavily on that. Like, they can only really do damage to like low defense or
Yep.
but they have the defense ignore. But with this, okay, they do arts damage, so that attack speed plus 100 isn't disgusting. What? When skill ends, all puppet dancers respawn on the closest deployable tile to Techno.
I don't know. I mean,
No
I
idea.
guess it makes it I guess it makes it so that if you have techno like kind of in the back and then it
But
helps them survive longer. I don't know.
all puppet dancers respawn. If they die, does she do if they die during the skill, do they get like resummoned? But they're all summoned on the closest tile.
I'm guessing they just refill their health and get redeployed.
Okay, maybe it's saying that like, oh no, it's only during the skill ends.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Because her attack range increases, and so if she kills an enemy
Oh, that's true.
when the skill ends and it's something outside her attack range, it needs to be back in her range. That's why. Okay.
Makes sense, yeah.
All right. Puppet Dancer's gonna.
So
Her
so
S2
overall,
seems so much more fun than her S1. To just
yeah,
have like
I
this
think
Legion of Arts damage spam.
I think she's actually pretty well designed. I kind of like it, but
Yeah, she has two. She has two functions. She's not just like because
yep.
with her S1, it's just like because again the thing is that gets me is that after defeating an enemy, because her S1 would be
Hmm.
so much better if it was just like when any enemy dies, but then it would also be like what's that one stage in chapter 10 or chapter 11? It's like 11:6 or
Oh,
something that
yeah.
has like the one lane spam. It's like okay, maybe it's
Yep.
fine if it's not that way, but because as a
Yeah.
caster, 519. Why did she gain defense with trust?
That I was gonna point that out. Like that is incredibly dumb to me.
Yeah, because the puppet dancers aren't based off of her stats. It just seems to be they're based off of. Are they?
She 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 goes from 70 defense to 105. That is game changing right
It
there.
has to be,
And
but
200 HP.
she
200 HP.
it has to be for the puppet dancers. The puppet dancers have
No,
to. It has to,
uh,
right? It has to be derivative of her
no,
stats.
doesn't sound like it.
That would make no sense.
They're just intentionally nerfing techno for no reason.
I mean, I guess
I
because
mean, to be
if
fair,
she
her
dies,
survivability is kind of low.
well, her survivability is also important because if she dies, the I'm sure the dancers die.
True.
Well, okay, 1600, 1800 HP isn't that bad for a ranged operator. Although again, 105 defense is nothing. She has decent art
Yeah.
survivability. She has pretty
Yeah.
decent art survivability, but
Yeah.
unless
Eight,
the summons are derivative of her stats, I have no idea why she has that.
I don't think they are. That wouldn't really make sense.
Because when I look at the puppet dancers, it doesn't say anything about them having derivative stats, and then it also only refers to promotions. Well, wait. No, they have to be derivative because it literally says at Elite 2 they have a certain stats. At Elite 2 Max they have different stats. So yeah, it has to be derivative from her own stats.
It's derivative of her level, not her stats.
Well, You're
So the higher the level there she is, the higher
you're
the
right.
stats
You're probably right because it doesn't say anywhere that
of the
these things
thing.
gain any fucking trust boost, but they might. And if they did, that would be I still don't
That would
even know.
be
I mean, if they gain 200 HP and what, 35 defense,
yeah, that wouldn't be
that wouldn't
bad.
be that bad. That would be pretty good. They probably don't though. And if they did, it would be derivative of her own stats. So it wouldn't be. But again, it's like it's
Yeah.
probably based off of level. So it doesn't even fucking matter. So
Yep, it's based on level. Or it should be.
cool. Good job, Techno. Yeah, because
Hooray!
it to me it makes the most sense that she would have higher attack because she needs to be killing things.
Well, Hypergriff was saving the attack trust bonus for the
Yeah,
6 star.
that is true.
So
That is very true. Yeah, I do like Techno though. I don't like her existence because I know why she exists, but I do. I think that they did literally the only two things that you can do with a Shaper caster, and that's the things that they summon are meant to chump block, or the things that
deal
they
damage, yeah.
summon you're supposed to gang up on an enemy and just destroy them.
Yep.
Her S2 seems really fun because she can make 5 summons. So then you do her S2, and then
Hmm.
her and her summons are just like like barraging because it's okay. Because the issue is with with the S2 being inactive, the puppet dancers are kind of irrelevant to each other because they're melee operators, and so the only way that
Yep.
like the puppet dancer can only interact with Techno. Puppet dancers can't interact with each other. But with her S2, like every puppet dancer has like become ranged, and then it's like, okay, so they have 300 attack. That's 300 arts damage. Their attack
Hmm.
interval is 2.5 seconds. So 2.5 well that would just be divided by 2. Yeah. So 1.25
Yep.
seconds and you have
Hmm.
5 of them. So that's
Hmm.
300 that's 1500 divided by 1.25, so 1200 arts DPS.
That actually makes me think, you know what would be a great Dusk Delta module?
Go ahead.
All her freelings become ranged.
Do the freelings do
There
arts
you go.
damage too?
Yeah, they do.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Uh, and what is kind of funny is that Dusk seems to be one of the few operators that has summons that don't change with her level.
Really? Based on
Yeah,
promotion?
they have the same stats.
Or just like period?
Regardless if she yeah, unless her Y module does improve them, but level wise they're the same
But does she unlocks the summon though at
at
it?
E2.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's like,
But it's
why
just
bother?
unique. It's unique because most operators are like, oh, if you have a summon, then going from E2 level 1 to E2 90
Yeah,
or
yeah,
E2 80 will improve the summon stats, whereas for Dusk it doesn't matter.
yeah. That makes sense. Because it's like, why bother programming all that when it's not like you're using her. It's not like it'll make that huge of a difference.
Right.
I mean, it would be
But
like a
I
strict benefit to be like, oh, max versus E2 level 1, but it's like, it'll be generally okay. It's fine.
so that was just a fun fact.
That's a cool
Um
fun fact. That's today's fun dusk fact with Loey segment. Hope you all enjoyed.
yes.
Tune in next week for more fun dusk facts with Loey.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to talk about Iblana? Or
Just have me rant about her S3 for 30 minutes.
sure, why not? Let's talk about. Oh no,
Um
wait. I looked up Iblana and it did redirect me to Necras. All right.
yeah.
I like her name being Iblana Dublin. That's like, imagine if you had a guy named John Ireland. Although like Dublin isn't a place, it's like a legion of people, I guess. I don't know, it's just funny to me. I don't know the lore. I think Dublin refers to like a legion or something.
Possibly, yeah.
Codename, a
I
portmanteau of the prefix necro and grass.
Yeah, they kept they kept the naming convention that Reed had, so kind of
Oh,
makes
okay.
sense. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have ever figured that out. All right, what do you want to complain about first? Because I love complaining about things that aren't meant for me.
Um well, let's just say if you have E2 Ablana, her skill 3 is the only one that you're probably ever going to use.
And why is that, Chloe?
I'll just read it right here. Immediately deals 800% of attack as arts damage to all enemies within range. Then consumes a servant of lament to upgrade the special servant, which doesn't matter because she's going to kill everything by herself, and restores 20% of its max HP. And repeat 3 times.
Yeah, cool.
So, and it has a 16 SP cost.
Yeah,
So
so
basically,
it's a crit skill. Just spammable.
so So, in other words, if you have a leveled Eblana, she probably does more AoE arts damage than Splashcasters, even though she has a 16-second downtime.
Oh, that's a horrible
And she
downtime though.
also,
Horrible downtime. I'm gonna be having to wait 16 seconds to blow up the board. That's ugh,
yeah,
absolute trash.
and she also gets the E1 E1 marksman sniper range, which is always wonderful.
Always fun.
Um,
Yeah, I love how you said E1 marksman sniper range, as if it gets if it's when you upgrade them to elite 2, they get bigger. That's what marksmen need. Marksmen need artilleryman range. They don't need it. I just want it.
that's why you built Archetto, isn't it?
I built Archetto to prove a point. I built
Well,
Archetto.
her skill 3 does get plus
Oh
one
no, I
range.
know it's master. It's
Just
I have it at M3. It's a fun skill. But no, I upgraded Archetto because I wanted to prove the point. The 6 stars are way too fucking expensive. I was correct.
They are expensive
Yeah.
until you've played the game for 2 years, and then they're cheap.
But I did it in like the very early when I was kind of just starting out because again, a thing I
Yeah,
really wanted to prove was like 6 stars should not at all be your concern as a new player. As a new player, you should be more concerned with low rarity operators, and you should only start really caring about 6 stars once you reach like chapter 5 or 6. And even then, it's like they're not necessary in like the fucking slightest. And so I wanted to prove that point by upgrading Archetto to be like, how hellish would this be? And it sucked. It was awful. I hated it. She's still really fun, and she carried me through a lot of IS3. Regardless, it's like
hmm
I could have
yeah.
also upgraded like 3 4 stars and like 2 5 stars for the same resources. But again, it's not like that
But
matters. People are still going to say to upgrade your 6 stars when you first start out, even though to me, I think that's going to fuck up your learning curve.
I think upgrading 6 stars to E1 isn't too bad. It's just the Elite 2 that
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
will will mess up
The
new
thing
players.
the thing is though with like Elite 1 6 stars is that there often isn't much justification to really cuz like especially at Elite 0 most 6 stars don't really differentiate don't aren't that different from like other operators. And really only like
hmm
a decent amount of 6 stars are just like, oh, they're really significant enough at Elite 1 to really be like their own thing versus cuz it's
True, yeah.
like what I if I'm just starting the game, do I really need like E1 Archetto or am I fine with Cruz and Jessica, you know?
Right, yeah.
So it's like to me 6 stars are mainly for their elite 2s. Obviously, I'm sure you can wholeheartedly disagree with that knowing you, but generally, if you're a new player, I think what should be most important to you is just figuring out the operators that you currently have rather than trying to pine for something that you don't. Which is why I'm not a huge fan of like the fact that you get like a free 6-star when you first start off, which is kind of like a crazy thing to think about because that's like, you know, gacha game players are all like, oh yeah, I get the free stuff when I first log in. When it's like, Arknights is too good of a game to just be giving away like overpowered shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind it too much. I have more of a problem with the free E2
Oh, 100%,
um
100%. I agree.
level thing
I 100%.
because yeah, I mean, well, 6 stars are obviously generally speaking better at E0. They're not so much better that you feel obligated to use them.
Also, yeah,
So
and plus,
so I don't really mind that they give you one or two at the start.
no, that's yeah, you're right. But to me, no, mainly because 6 stars will just have a higher DP cost just by nature, and so usually the difference in their power
Yeah.
doesn't usually make up for that at that really low level. But for me, it's a matter
Hmm.
of like trying to have the player figure out what they need to do, because to me it's like that's just kind of the nature of gacha games though, treating 6 stars as
Right.
this big thing that you gotta upgrade, you gotta get done. It's like, oh, you get this cool special bag opening animation and it's like the banner is
Hmm.
featuring them, you get a free 6 star, that's the coolest thing in the game. And so you as a new player feel like, oh, this is like, wow, I got Mountain, I gotta upgrade him, I gotta use him because he's the most powerful. And then, you know, it just kind of ends up being, he will be powerful and he will help you, but you end up kind of just getting into the mindset of like, gotta get the 6 stars, gotta get the good stuff.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
end up
Hmm.
forgetting that it's like, Cruz is like probably your best operator until you actually need to start elite twoing shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. And it's like in the early game, I do think the best way to spend your resources is just like upgrade all your 3 stars. I don't care if you think catapult is lame, just upgrade all your 3 stars. They only cost 10k
Hmm.
LMD to promote. You don't need to farm for anything, and they're super cheap
Yep.
to max out. Their talents get upgraded once you reach Elite 1 max. They're so much value in those in the early game stages. Yeah, same with your two
Yep.
stars. Upgrade your 2 stars.
And then on top of that, they're always going to be valuable because of the first few ISs having the
Oh,
zero hope three
definitely.
stars.
Definitely, yeah. Even just in IS in general, because sometimes it's just like
Right.
you're not always going to be promoting stuff. You just want to save hope. You're still going to be getting
Hmm.
value out of your 3 stars. And you got, hey, free base skills, free good base skills just right off the bat.
Yep.
Like
You
there's
would be surprised on how well you would be very surprised on how well Hypergriff made the early operator base skills
yeah.
because they give you a lot of really good ones to like make it so it feels like you don't need to specifically go out to get better base skills until you're further along and you're more established.
I've never understood the nature of like pulling and upgrading for base skills. Which just might be me because I'm, you know, I don't really give a shit about the base, but it's like I want to like pull and upgrade for fun operators. It's like I don't want to put them in the base. I don't want to do all of this stuff so I can put something in a base so I can get my gold ingot 4 seconds earlier.
That's more so an
Yeah, yeah,
end game problem, not
yeah. Not, like again, it's
it
like
it
that's just not something I
yeah.
give a shit about. But you know, I can kind of get the base. I get the appeal of the base because it's like, oh, it's Clash of Clans, except I can optimize my production. You know,
Hmm.
like it would be more fun if the base had more to it. And the recent-ish update that allows you to just kind of cycle off your stuff just made going to the base so much easier. Because the worst part
Oh
about the
yeah,
base is
yeah.
just like you know you log in, you go to the base and they have to just like reselect everything, and I didn't give a shit. I'm just like, I just want to reselect whatever. All right, you have this skill that works here, you have a skill that works here, you know, and it leads to
Yeah.
my base being like horribly unoptimized because it's like you really need to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to optimize your base. And so I had
Yeah, now you
I
now
had a
you only need to do it once.
yeah, you only need to do it well twice because you need to do it once for the first thing and once for your other cycle. And then
Oh, true, yeah.
and then I'm like, ooh, I'm like, I'm going to mastery an operator today. And then the operator is in the base, and I'm like, oh fuck. Now I gotta
Mhm.
now I gotta fix all of the things. I think I'm like mastering Haze right now, and she was previously working on something, and so now I think the fucking cycle is fucked up. So whatever.
Oh
It's just
well,
how it
yeah.
is. But yeah, I've never been too huge a fan of the base. I do wish that there was more to it, because after like a month, it's like you did it. It's
Yep.
done. You did it. And then you have like these farming stages for base resources, and it's just like the game doesn't even like really let you like upgrade everything because of the power plants.
Yeah, you need well, that is kind of the thing. Like there's this debate between having the two trading post, five factory, two power plant versus two
Oh my
trading post,
god.
four factory, three power plant. And it kind of gets exhausting because I've always had the 243 setup and that has worked perfectly fine. And
That's
I get like,
that I remember I ran into that like discussion too, like in my like about a year ago with like people. Like there was someone who joined my Discord who was just like, "What? You don't run the 252?" And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Like, who gives a shit? I'm just playing. I came to play Arknights so I can play the really cool tower defense game. Who
mhm.
gives a shit about the fucking Clash of Clans thing? And it's like, oh, but you're not getting the resources you want. And it's like, I'm fine. I'm not dead. I am. It's the weirdest thing to get like. Again, if the base is your hyperfixation, fucking go for it. But it's such a weird thing to be like, oh, you need to be playing Arknights with the 6, 7, 12 base. You need to make sure you're rotating every 6 hours. You need to make sure that you have
Yeah.
you're pulling for the right base operators. And it's just like this is like as stupid and pointless as like min-maxing the game as a whole, you know? It's like I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna play the game how I fucking want to.
Yeah. And as I was saying, like I've had the 243 set up for pretty much forever, and I've been perfectly fine with it. And that base setup, you can upgrade everything to the max, which
Yeah.
is a big reason why I kept it because when I there's actually a channel that dedicated themselves to min-maxing the base, and they're like, "Oh, well, if you go with the 252 setup after upgrading everything, you can't downgrade. You get like 5 or 10% more efficiency overall." And I'm like, I don't want to do 3 rotations of the stinking base every day for that minuscule amount of improvement. So,
but it's optimized. You're optimizing. And
yeah.
imagine all of the things you can do with that LMD. You could upgrade another operator to make your base better.
Oh yes, my 29 million LMD that I can't spend.
And then all of this stuff, all of these resources that you're producing, you could have them. And then that's cool.
Hmm.
You could like not even use them to upgrade operators. You get to just have them.
So, hmm yeah, and my base produces 40 of the purple experience tickets and 50k LMD every day. I'm perfectly fine. Like I don't need I mean, I never farm experience in LMD and I have so much like I could level whoever I want
Yeah.
if I want to deal with the stupid chip catalysts
Ooh.
and the
Ooh.
module blocks.
Fucking
Well, if
dumbest
I had enough
shit.
module
Fucking dumbest shit in
modules.
the entire game. Why the fuck do chip catalysts exist?
The funniest thing is that I have a number of 5 stars I do want to level and test out, and I don't have them E2 purely because of the stupid chip
It's
catalyst.
the dumbest resource in the entire game. You can't like
Mm-hmm.
properly farm for them because like again, it's annoying enough to have to wait for the chip stage for that operator's class. You know, and
Yep.
eventually it'll come around. Eventually you do it. But then it's also just like, oh, now I have to wait for the red cert stage to be up because I don't fucking stockpile these things. You get like 5 a day. So
Yep.
it's like, and it's like, oh, but you
Yep.
know, you can do the annihilations and that'll give you some, except that's a one time thing. So it's like,
Yep.
it's just this completely pointless added step that takes away so many it takes away like so much sanity in game and real life for the sake of
Yep.
just like, oh, in order to combine a chip and a chip into a dual chip, you need a chip catalyst. And it's like, just fucking use hot glue. Why the fuck do I gotta do this? It's such a pointless thing. I don't understand the game design like idea of it. It's like when they were playtesting the game, were they like, oh, 5 stars are just too easy to Elite 2. We need to add an extra restriction to make them harder to Elite 2. When it's like, four
Yeah,
stars
because
and 5 stars are basically the same thing. Like, I don't understand why it's so needlessly Again, for 6 stars, sure, go ahead. There's some super premium fucking whatever. Fine. It's still stupid. I don't
Mhm.
agree with it, but fine. But 5 stars are the same fucking thing as 4 stars. Why the fuck do we need to? Why is it that 4 stars are just so happy go lucky? Like, yeah, you just need the chips. And then, in order. No, the dual chips are what you do to Elite 2. It's the chip packets or whatever that you need to
Yep.
catalyze. That's not a fucking verb, is it? Is catalyze a verb? But
I don't know.
it's
Doesn't matter.
It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. They could be removed from the game and nothing would happen. There's no
Yep.
benefit to chip catalysts being in the game other than, hey, you know what we desperately need? A red cert sync. Said fucking no one. Like, do you know how hard it is to just get the potential? You know what I would love to do? Get the potentials on the 5 stars in the red cert shop, but I can't because chip catalysts exist.
You
Like,
know, you know what? That actually, what really bothers me about the Red Search Shop is that they have, the 6 star potentials
yeah,
as well. Like that's kind
yeah,
of like the main thing that you would farm for from that.
somehow.
And I don't understand why they're not unlimited. It's like you have to spend so much sanity to get one, and you need four of them for one potential.
Yeah, I don't understand the point
Like,
of
who
them.
cares if they're unlimited? Like,
It's
I
not like,
mean, to even realistically farm them, they would have to buy OP in order to refresh the sanity, and then they get money anyway.
yeah, it's and
Like, okay,
it's also really stupid how you need to wait for the right subclasses to come on.
that too,
Except,
yeah.
like, I don't even know when the red cert shop cycles. Oh, it's by month. Wow. Oh, you didn't get the 6 star you want? Oh, just wait for 4 fucking more months and then it might show up. And then you get one potential. Congrats. Your Mjolnir now costs one less DP. What did it cost? Fucking 2,800 red certs. And like,
Yeah.
probably like
Yeah.
60 Originum Prime if you're using that. So, like, it's at that point, just roll fucking gotcha. Like, what?
Yeah.
Potentials are both like, because that's a thing with a lot of gotcha games, is that how do you handle duplicates? Because
Yep.
you shouldn't require duplicates because then the gotcha system becomes irrelevant and it becomes more about obtaining duplicates of things than actually unlocking the thing. But
Mhm.
you also can't make duplicates useless because you don't want your players to feel horrible when they unlock something they already have. But the
Yeah,
thing
and it
is with
also and duplicates encourage spenders to get
yeah,
stuff for min maxing.
yeah. But even then with potentials, it's like, I don't feel good when I get another fucking like for 4 stars and 5 stars. Yeah, fine, because I can expect them to be at max potential at some point. 6 stars though,
Yep.
no fucking point. Literally no reason in existence for it. It's like, wow, my operator that can already completely annihilate a stage can now do so for 2 less DP and with 34 more attack.
Wow.
Like, you have to invest 6 times the amount of resources into getting the operator just for the operator to perform like 10% better. And to me, that's ridiculous. That's so
it
ridiculous.
really it makes me laugh every time that it's like, oh, I got pot 6 Aya just to get plus 2% to all
Yeah,
casters.
it's like potent like I'm sure there's people out there who treat it like it's the biggest flex ever, but to me it's like the biggest anti-flex. Like, you pulled for potentials. It's like, again, like, do whatever the fuck you want, but because I can also understand the meme of it being like if I could have a pot 6 Hodor, that would be fucking hilarious. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it because I want Hodor to be stronger. I'm doing it because I want to max out the operator. I want to have the satisfaction of having
Yeah.
it maxed out. Which, to that, okay,
I
fair. I don't think that's worth spending money over. I think that's a very ridiculous. But if that's like if that's a grind that you're going on for months and months and months because you really don't give a shit about anything else, and you get it, fine. That's funny. That's really cool. That's funny. But it's like, I can't imagine like spending money for my operator to be slightly stronger.
yeah.
Like, what's even Hodor's potentials? Okay, 250 more
Like
max HP is a lot, but improve second talent. Hell yeah, gets 30% sanctuary. Let's fucking go. 2% less damage.
Dusk's potentials her 5th potential is plus 3 stacks to her talent, so you need to kill 15 enemies before you even get benefit from the potential.
Oh, Loey, do you have a specific Dusk rant about her talent that you want to go on? Is there a specific thing
I
you may want to
certainly
talk?
could do that.
Is there a specific thing about
Okay.
Dusk? I love how we were supposed to talk about Necras, but now we're just talking about fucking whatever the hell we want.
So yeah, as I was getting on with Eblana getting into the Splashcasters, her skill 3
Oh, I was
does
joking. Okay, I guess we are talking. I pulled up Dusk.
Well, I am tying it in.
Okay,
Don't
all right.
worry.
There's lore.
So with Necras, she gets the super buffed Shaper summons, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't need them because she does 800% attack 3 times.
Wait, Loey, pause.
Every 16
Pause.
seconds.
We're getting more technical difficulties because my fucking computer's stupid.
Wow, having
Okay, we're
plenty
good.
of
We're good.
specials today, huh?
We're good. Okay, you may continue your rant.
So for Necras, she gets the super buffed Shaper summons, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't even need them because she does 800% of her attack 3 times every 16 seconds.
Yes, very balanced, very fair.
Which
what was
other character?
What was the arts DPS for that? I remember it was like 4K or something. I forgot what it was. I know we did the math.
I'll do the math again.
Yay math. You can just go on.
She does 5.4K 3 times
Ah.
at
Yes.
E2 max.
5.4K times
So
3
she-
over 16.
Yeah, she gets 16K damage every 16 seconds. So it's like, why would you ever use an AoE arts option
1,000
when you
1,000 average 1,000 arts DPS on average just by having the skill equipped? You know what? That's reduced by resistance, and she doesn't ignore resistance. Therefore, she's trash.
Well, she also gets a 40% attack buff against 50% or lower enemies because reasons.
Wait, really? Where the fuck does it say that? Oh, guys,
Dim
that's her
dim
talent.
afterglow.
Oh my
When
god.
this unit and summons attack below 50%, gets 40% damage buff.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
now that I have said that, Dusk skill 2 increases arts damage to 130% below 50%. So she gets a better damage upgrade than Dusk skill 2 against low HP. That is very nice.
Oh, and you don't even need to have uptime for it. That's so nice of them.
I know. How convenient.
And what's great is that
Um,
that combos with her being a whatchamacallit, shaper caster, because that makes it more likely for her to actually kill things.
yeah. So yeah, if you have Ablana, AoE casters are just gone into the trash bin.
Be
You're
gone.
don't. I mean, unless you need Mostima slow for something, get them out of here.
Well, I mean, blocking something with an absolute juggernaut of a summon doesn't it also have 4 block, the fucking summon, at max stats?
I yeah, probably does.
Yeah, I think it has like four block at max stacks. So then it just ends up because yeah, Necras is S3 when it yeah, it consumes a Servant of Lament to upgrade the Special Servant, which is a special summon that only her S3 does, which gets bigger and
Hmm.
bigger every time she's. So you can, as long as she has 3 servants on the field, this thing gets 3 upgrades. So then
Yep.
each upgrade on the Special Servant gives it 80% more HP and attack and 40% more defense. So in a single S3 usage, you can potentially give something a lot of HP and a lot of attack and a lot of defense. 180 times 3. That's 240% more HP and attack and 120 more defense. And then on the third upgrade, it gains +1 block. However, since her S3 is very busted, you're probably just going to be getting the kills anyway to just charge up the Special Servant really easily. So
Yeah.
in the course of 2 charges, you have a max Special Servant.
Which you don't even need the servant because she can kill everything on her own.
No, but you said that we might find Mostima useful with her slow, but it doesn't even matter because
Oh,
Necras makes a fucking 4 block juggernaut.
yeah, it pretty much only matters in contingency contract, and that's about it.
Uh oh,
As contingency contract,
and it restores the summon's HP, so it's not like it can even fucking die.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you
fine.
have Mustima X mod, then her skill charges in 10 seconds instead of 16, just so you know.
Oh, there we go. Big improvement.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, getting into the proper Dusk talent. So her X mod, which is in theory her DPS mod, it increases the amount of stacks that she gets, which is yeah, good luck getting more than the default 15 when most stages only have 30 enemies and she needs to be the one to actually kill them to get the stacks.
But won't it be worth it when you have the new extra stacks? I mean, that goes from 15 to 21. That's 6 extra stacks. That's a whole 12% more attack.
I know.
What doesn't that
Incredible. Whole like 120 attack. Amazing.
I know, and you only need to literally bend over backwards and sideways for it. And it's only usable on some stages. And probably if you're on a
And her
stage where Dusk can kill 21 enemies, it's probably a wash with any splash caster to begin with.
right.
I mean,
And on
it's
top of that, her X mod Her X mod goes from 20 stacks to 21 stacks from going from level 2 to level 3.
And it only
The
requires 120 LMD,
120
4 module blocks, 4 crystalline electronic units, a tier 5
and
material.
20 of the tier 3 module upgrade material.
Yeah, that's I mean that you get a whole 2% attack boost conditionally.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
you also
but
get the stats. The stat increase is a whole
12 base attack.
12 base attack. So that's a whole 14, not even 14%. That's just, it's like probably 15 more attack overall. So, I mean,
Wow.
I mean, really, it's really pushing the boundaries for 6-star design. I'm telling you that.
Yeah. I mean, they were really thinking back in the day.
Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, Dusk didn't need a module, but she just got one anyway. And this is what we get. It's like, I'm sure the module missions were fun, though, weren't they?
Clear 1-6 with 2 squads,
I love
2
module
units.
missions because they're either like a really good display of the operator or just a random early game stage that doesn't matter. Like, what the fuck
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah.
1-6?
You know what is the funniest part about the module missions?
What?
Her X mod, which is supposed to be her DPS mod, has summon a total of 20 summon units with Dusk. And her Y mod, which is focused on her summons, defeat 80 enemies with Dusk. Like what? Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess you can use her. No, no, that's the idea. They want you to get her X module first, so it makes getting her Y module easier.
Oh, it all makes sense now.
I like how in the second module mission you can only deploy vanguards, but in the first one you can only deploy defenders. What made them switch up their mind? Oh, this time it's
I don't know.
4-3 and not 1-6. Neither of these stages are memorable in the slightest.
4-3 is only memorable because that one with the
It,
red tile was actually pretty hard with the Elite Zero level 1, but
oh,
besides
that
that,
stage.
that's
That
yeah.
stage. I like that stage. Okay, never mind. That is a good stage. But how? What does that have to do with Dusk?
I don't know, maybe they want you to summon freelings on the red tile.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know how the fuck you do that, but you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's perfect. Modules are an
But
amazing
yes.
system. Oh, but
But
she's
yes.
got her delta or her fucking alpha module. ISW alpha.
Yeah, which is just her X mod, but actually good.
She becomes Lava the Purgatory. Let's fucking go. Well, that should mean she makes 2 freelings on her first attack, doesn't it?
She basically makes everyone summon a freeling on their first attack, which is
Oh, I
kind of
guess I didn't
interesting.
read the
But
rest of it then. Wait, actually, okay. I actually
yeah,
want to ask this because I don't know how IS modules work because I don't use 6 stars. Do you have
okay.
to actually up? Do you have to buy these?
They You do have to buy them, but they only cost 1 module block per level.
Okay. Yeah, that okay, I
So
see
they're
that right here.
really cheap, which basically begs the question, her X module,
That begs the
like the
question why
the
the fuck you got to upgrade them.
I don't know. But her IS module, because it gives 10 attack speed, it is better than her X module, even though it doesn't upgrade her talents outside of IS. So never get her X module, just get her IS module, and it is better than her mod
Oh,
X most of the time.
you're right. It took me a second. Yeah, the stat change wouldn't doesn't matter in IS.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So her X mod, the extra tile of range is not very useful from my experience. So if you have Dusk with no module for some reason, get her IS module whenever it comes out and use event, and you will literally get better than her X mod with spending a third of the module
I think
blocks
it, I
or a
mean,
quarter of the module blocks.
it's a lot and infinitely less resources in general.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No LMD, no tier 5 materials.
But
Uh,
her X module would be better in Annihilation.
oh.
So pay up. Pay up.
Yeah.
Don't you want the 2% boost? You want those good stats? Gotta play optimally, Loey. Gotta play optimally.
It is actually kind of funny that we're talking about her X mod because I beat H13-4 today, and I actually did use her X mod to deal with
For its intended purpose.
this yeah, for the slugs that that chapter 13 spams.
That's funny.
And and the boss is so annoying on that stage. It's like, "Oh, hey, let me just stand there for a second," and then he summons 20 slugs. It's like,
Gonna
"Really?"
pretend I know what you're talking about. Did I even Nope, I'm only at H13 too. I've been trying a lot at H13 too, but I still haven't gotten it done. Although that's a really good Crown Slayer stage, unironically.
I feel like the H stages, they're really fun, but the ones that have the boss on them are usually annoying.
Yeah, they're not like fun. It's just like, oh yay, I have to fucking deal with you again, and it just ends up being the same
Yeah.
gameplay loop as the boss stage normally.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember there was some. Oh, in Villingström Hurst, like two of the S stages have the boss in it, and they both play
Yep.
basically the same, and it's like I I already beat you twice. Why do I gotta do it again? It's the same
The
gimmick because he's a stationary boss, so you're basically just playing the
yeah.
same stage. It's just with different layouts now, and so it's just like this event has such cool mechanics. Like play with that. Like the boss literally
Yeah.
prevents you from interacting with the mechanic in phase two.
Right. Yeah.
It's although I will
Yeah,
say
usually
the final S stage was pretty fucking annoying because every single time I would do it, I'd get when I get to phase two, I get absolutely conked by the oboists because it
yeah.
just so happens to perfectly line up with when their variation is active, and that's entirely just based
Yeah.
off of when you decide to kill the Witch King. So you
Yeah,
just have no fucking control over it.
it's basically a big DPS check because even if you stall them, eventually the song, like even if you stall them the first time, so then
Yeah,
it becomes yellow. Well, either you kill the wind players, so you get rid of them, or the song will obviously change to purple again. So you
yeah,
either need to kill the boss or kill all of the wind players
yeah.
by the time that happens. It's kind
It,
of irritating that way.
Yeah, it's a fucking difficult ass stage. Did they even use the oboists in any of the other boss stages? Because I don't think they
Um,
did.
they have a few on the normal one and the EX one, but only S5 I think
Oh
has
yeah, there
the
is one in the normal one, but there's only one, and that's
yeah.
at the very end, and that's legitimately like a boss fight of its own. Because the whole point, because the entire point of the oboe guy in the original boss fight is that he stands right in front of where the portal summons, so you're supposed to kill him with the portal. That's the entire point.
Yeah.
But you can't do that on fucking S5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember EX8 that much. I did it once normally, and then I tried to do it CM, but I just got bored and did fucking other shit. It's like, listen, boss fights are
So
fun. We don't need fucking 4 of them in an event, all right?
there, if the H10 stages all have Manfred on them,
All of them?
which was yeah,
I
and he gets buffed.
I haven't beaten H10 1 yet cuz mainly just cuz I'm stupid and I suck at Arknights. I've gotten decently far in it. Because again, the main thing with me is that I don't really like using 6 stars unless I feel I absolutely fucking like I just
Right, yeah.
I don't really want to use them, and so I'm fine with taking my time with stages. But you're telling me all of them have Manfred?
Yep.
The fuck?
Oh. All chapter 10 H stages have him. And he also gets special modifiers.
Is it at
I
least
think
different in every stage? Because I know in
a
H10
little bit,
one,
yeah.
in H10 one he deals necrosis damage, which doesn't fucking matter because you know exactly who I'm using.
Yeah, I think it was he deals necrosis on the first one. The second one, I think he either recovers faster or he has some other effect. And then on H10-3, the fun one, I say with sarcasm, he makes all of the reborn creations have an arts damage over time aura on them.
What the fuck? So
Yep.
they turned him into a worse HSV? What the fuck? That's
Well,
evil.
well, basically, they all do arts damage around themselves. Yeah.
So basically, the main point of chapter 10 being you're supposed to block all of the reborn enemies, mainly the little
Yep.
fucking boogers. You are now actively
Hmm.
punished for doing so.
Pretty much, yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So now all of your now people talking about, crushers not being good to spam, fuck you.
Hmm.
Everything is that now. Crushers
Yeah.
are now objectively the best out of the bunch now.
So you either have to kill them from a distance or
Which isn't how
I
they're
guess
designed. That's
right.
the whole point of them, is that they're supposed to be annoying fucks that you're supposed to use the cannon to kill. That's
Yeah,
awful.
I'm
What the
gonna
fuck? Alright, maybe I'm
yeah.
glad just
It
chilling out
it
in H10-1.
is yeah, it takes a long it took me a long time to do H10
Oh, for
H10-3.
E0 level 1? Yeah, it must be pretty hard.
Here we go.
What's
Um
H10-4?
there's only 3 stages for
Oh,
H10 for some reason.
I see.
But it says as long as Manfred is on the map, the following enemies, which is all of the reborn enemies, have an arts damage aura equal to 5% of Manfred's attack every 0.5 seconds.
What's Manfred's attack? It's like 7?
Um,
Like 8?
1200.
That seems like a lot. That seems like a little ridiculous. Let's look up
And
Manfred. Manfred's attack, and this is all the lore. This is nothing to do with.
he has 1200 attack, and then he gets a 20% damage or attack bonus. So
Fair.
it,
Okay.
it's it, it's a lot. Let's just put it that.
1200 times. That's 60 arts DPS, which for one enemy isn't that bad. For like 7, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a fucking issue.
Yeah.
You know what I find funny about Arcanite's enemies is that they technically have levels, but they're always at level 0, and then some enemies get to be level 1.
Yeah.
I find that to be so funny.
The
He has
the level
60k
1
HP? Jeez.
Yeah, he's kind of tanky, but
40 resistance. Yeah.
if you take down his shield, then you can burst him down fairly easily.
Yeah.
Or just use true damage.
Yeah, I mainly just stall him with crushers because that's the main point of them, usually.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, that increase from 0 to 1 is gigantic. 50% more HP. Because the thing is with Manfred
Yeah.
is that he's super easy to stall. Because typically by the time he starts ramping up his attack, he just gets hit by the cannon again. So it doesn't matter that much. But
Mm-hmm.
in the time it takes to actually chip him down, it just takes fucking forever. Usually you're done with the waves by the time he's like doing stuff.
Yeah. You either use true damage or you use far
Yeah.
tooth to avoid his shield, or you wait for his shield to go down.
Yeah. Very fun. Very fun. Or elemental damage. Elemental damage also works.
Yeah.
It's just that's funny. That's awesome. I love that. I love how he just does arts how he makes all of your little boogers do arts damage. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that I guess you
I
could
actually
I love how we
oh,
interrupt each
go ahead.
other cuz I can't fucking keep to myself. You may continue.
Go ahead.
No. You can talk.
I actually enjoyed H10 1 and 2. It's just H10 3 that was annoying.
Yeah. H101 is fun. It's just it's just a long ass stage.
Hmm.
Now I forgot what the fuck. His name is Manfred von Richtenhofen. That Richtenhofen von Richt. That's the name of the Red Baron. Von Richtenhofen, I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm gonna look like such a fucking idiot. The pilot guy, man. No, it just is his name. The Red Baron is literally named Manfred von Richtenhofen. As in like the number one flying ace of World War One. You know, the guy Snoopy dresses up as.
Oh yeah.
So Manfred gets his name. If I click if I click on the link on the wiki that says etymology Manfred von Richtenhofen, it takes me to the fucking Red Baron. Which is so yeah. So Manfred gets his name's etymology from a World War One fighter pilot, one of the best in all of history. That why?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, even though he's a general, he doesn't.
Yeah,
They
the Red
don't
Baron
use
wasn't a general.
aircraft.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing.
Oh well, I guess.
Here's a picture of
Manfred
Manfred.
trivia.
Here's a picture of Manfred with Hoderer on the wiki. Let's fucking go, chat. I like this. I like this right here. Manfred wishing to help other kids who have lost their parents, like Ada. Like, that makes me feel like they went, when Ada got added last year, they went back to update this page so that it references Ada. Oh no, this is part of the Babel story. Okay, never mind. I'm just fucking stupid. Never mind. Ignore literally everything I just fucking said.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about? This has been going on for a bit. This is 2 hours currently, so that's a fucking lot. So I think that's a good time to fucking wrap it up, shall we?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think we covered all of our bases.
How the
So overall,
how did we talk
the
about
the
three
new
operators for 2 hours?
just the nature of the podcast,
The
I
nature of the
guess.
podcast. So yeah.
So the new operators, I think they're definitely one of the more they're definitely the more interesting ones. Like they don't really feel like they're
Yeah. Yeah.
they're interested. They have interesting gimmicks without, well, especially Thorns in particular. He doesn't really seem to be too overpowered.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the thing with like supportive operators is that because the thing is with Thor or something I have said about debuffers is that typically debuffers scale a lot better for like min maxers than buffers because debuffers
mhm.
because we all deal with the same enemies but we don't all use the same operators. And so,
Hmm.
for me, buffers are usually a lot better because I'm not using like a lot stronger operators in general. But everyone is against the same enemies, so all debuffers are always good. And so with Thorns, it's like, yeah, his
Yep.
S3 is really good. And the support that his
Hmm.
S1 and S2 do provide are good. So
Yep.
it's, but again, no element of him feels complete nonsense other than him kind of power creeping Tin
Right.
Man. But even then, it's
Right.
like, it's
Um,
probably debatable.
that's kind of the thing, like why Necras bothers me so much because it's like, oh well, she instantly upgrades her special servant. Well, that's fine, but why does she randomly do 2,400% attack in an
Because
AOE?
she needs to, I know why. It's because it's a way to help her kill things to actually fuel the summon. Because
Well, if it, yeah,
because
I
I
mean, I get that's fine, but if it was like 400% attack, I don't think I would have a problem with it. It's
it's
just
just
like
how absurd it is.
eight. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Although it does probably overkill enemies probably a lot more, so the actual DPS number we calculated isn't really that accurate. Because very
Hmm.
often, like, are you really going to be using a Blana against like a boss? Because she won't be doing anything because she's not
Yeah.
killing other things. But at the same time,
Right.
her function as basically a splash caster is like, oh, look at all of those enemies. Now they are instantly dead.
Yeah. Unless I have like super high res, she's
Yeah.
gonna be killing them.
But even then, if you're playing like the kind of game, if you're playing Arcanites to the point to where you're using Ablana's S3, you probably have res debuffers. You like Thorns. You're probably
Right.
using, things to buff her up, make her a lot more strong. She
Yep.
she is definitely, because yeah, it's like I look at Thorns and I'm like, Thorns is chill. Like this is it's a 6-star. He's pushed, but he's fun. There's no element
Hmm.
of him that I feel is so absurd, and I don't think that simply by like adding Thorns to your squad, your ability to clear a stage now just doubled. Like you do
Right.
definitely need to build around Thorns. Thorns is a supporter. He makes your squad better.
Hmm.
Which again, it's stupid to me that alchemists are specialists. They should be supporters. That's so silly. But for a Blana, it definitely does kind of have those kinds of pushed for the sake of having guys, look, it's everyone's waifu and now she's really strong cuz you know, you can't have her be a disappointment or else people are going to get mad. Like I don't know.
Oh, remember when she was a boss and she was so strong? Well, now she can be strong on your side.
It is funny how it's like you have the meme of the boss when you fight them versus the boss when you unlock them, and then in like Arcanites,
Yeah.
it's kind of the fucking opposite sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I am pretty sure Crown Slayer is objectively stronger than her boss counterpoint.
Yeah, probably.
Like it's funny to watch my Crown Slayer like 3-shot normal Crown Slayer. But yeah, Ablana is definitely just fucking nuts. Not even who the fuck we were supposed to be talking about, but fucking whatever.
She's the hot topic of the week. I mean, we could have talked about Phantom, but he just feels like nervous impairment virtuosa, so
Ooh, I do think we
there's
we
not
should talk about.
really.
I do think we should talk about Phantom, but some other time. You know what I just realized?
Yeah.
This is a random topic. Did they update the on the wiki? There's a little thing that says attention. The names and descriptions of this operator are in Chinese or whatever, but there's a little sticker next to it. And I think the sticker is of Bridget, which to me
Oh
is
yeah, I think there is.
what like I don't know why. It's just like Bridget is such a weirdly specific and really new operator. So
Oh yeah.
it's like really? That's the one you choose? I mean, fair, it's a cute sticker, but it's like no like cuz it's a what's weird is that it's an attention thing saying like, "Oh, if you this is CN only, so it's not 100% guaranteed." And then to represent that, it's using a CN only operator. To me, that's just funny.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Because you also have like, it's also kind of meant to be like a spoiler thing of just like, oh, spoiler if you don't want to see CN only stuff. But then it's also just like, again, CN only operator. And it's Bridget. It's like such a random, like, she's a loop shooter.
Yeah.
Such a random fucking thing. All right. Well, I think that's all we will talk about today. So thank you, Loey,
All right.
for coming on. Hopefully we'll be able to do
Mm-hmm.
this again. Hopefully the people listening to this will enjoy it. It's 2 hours, so you're probably playing fucking Minecraft while playing this. So I hope you put in your furnace next to
Yeah, I
your
hope.
crafting table like a good little boy. Better go do that for me.
Yeah, I hope it's entertaining enough to put on your second monitor.
Because that's all podcasts are. It is second monitor slop, and that's perfect. Because you know what? This is gonna be monetized. Oh, the watch time. I can put like four mid. I can put like five. You know, I'll put like 10 mid roll ads in this. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. It'll only get like 7 views, but that's like $700. Man, I'm gonna be filthy rich after this. So thank you all for watching, and I love you all.
Hmm.
How about you, Loey?
See ya.